morning, Aiden. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Joshua. Today is the 1st of April. Spring's coming. Hopefully the weather's getting nice. Nicole looks like she's ready to go to sleep again. Is it nice and comfortable with your travel pillow on? Okay, so let's look up here. We're going to go over our verse together, and then we're going to do our Bible lesson, and then we should have some more time to write it afterwards. Let's pay attention up here, and let's say our verse. This verse will be a quiz next Wednesday, not today. So you got one more week with this verse, okay? So ready? Let's say this together. I might randomly unmute people, so I'm hoping to be able to hear as we're talking. It's also letting me know that I can hear you as you're talking. Ready? Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. But he giveth more grace, but God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Let's say it again. Ready? Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. But he giveth more grace. God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Catherine, say it. Good job. Layden, say it. Natalie, say it. Okay, Natalie, your volume is still off. Your sound speaking to me is still not working. You don't have to worry about typing it. But, okay, a little bit towards the end now, and I'll try to see if I can walk you through maybe getting your sound back on, okay? Nicole, say it. Okay, you can't see me? So I can see you, so do you have your Bible verse with you? Okay, so read it from the paper, James 4:3-7. Consume. Resist it. Good job. Okay, so let's say it one more time all together, and then we're going to move on to our lesson today. Ready? Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. But he giveth more grace. God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Good job. So today we are going to tell a story about Syria. Now we learned about Syria already before with the fact that Naaman was a leader in the Syrian army, and he had leprosy. And he came to Elijah, and Elijah, through God and Naaman's obedience, Naaman was healed of the leprosy. Well, for a while, Syria decided that they weren't going to attack Israel anymore, because normally in those days, people just didn't get healed from leprosy. If you had leprosy, you normally had it the rest of your life. But Naaman was healed, and the only way that he said, I went to a prophet in Israel, and he healed me. So for a while, they stopped attacking Israel. However, King, see if I can get his name right, Ben-Hadad eventually forgot all about Naaman's healing. And he decided to send his army to attack Israel. However, God would always show Elijah where and when and how the Syrian army was going to attack Israel. So Elijah would go and warn the king, hey, listen, don't send your people that way. Clear out this spot. The Syrian army is going to come here. And every time the Syrian army went to go fight Israel, Israel knew ahead of time what was coming. And the king's going, wait a minute. There's no way possible that every time that we go to attack Israel, they know we're coming, unless there's someone in our area or in our company that's giving Israel all the information. Maybe there's a spy that's telling Israel all about what we're planning to do. Was that the case? No, God was telling Elijah, and Elijah was telling the king. And the men of Syria go, listen, no one's telling them. Could you think they wouldn't be considered a spy? No, because if they're considered a spy, they're in trouble. However, somehow they found out that it was Elijah was telling the king all their plans. So the king of Syria goes, listen, go surround the city that Elijah's in. So the Syrian army goes and surrounds the city, and Elijah and his servant wake up the next morning, and Elijah's servant looks out the window and goes, Elijah, master, guess what? The Syrian army is all around our city. There's tons of them. And Elijah's like, okay. So Elijah's servant is overly scared, overly frightened, because there's a whole major Syrian army surrounding their city. And they're really pretty much in search of Elijah because they figured out who was telling all the Syrian information. And Elijah's just sitting back and going, okay. Not that he didn't care, because Elijah was seeing something that the servant wasn't seeing. The servant was only seeing the Syrian army. But Elijah was seeing this. Elijah goes, Lord, open my servant's eyes to see what I'm seeing. And God opens his eyes to see the whole army of angels that were surrounding the Syrian army. Guess what? Do you think that changed Elijah's servant's perspective? He went from being afraid of the Syrian army to having faith and being confident because the army that was with them was greater and more than the army that was against them. Guess what? In life, we're going to have times that we're afraid. We're going to wake up from the night and have a bad dream, or something's going to happen and we're going to be afraid. But guess what? Are we by ourselves even if we feel like we're by ourselves? No. Who's always with us? God is. God's always with us. God loves us no matter what. And even when we're afraid, just because we're afraid, did that mean that God left Elijah's servant? No. God was still there. And Elijah's servant got a chance to see that the ones for them were greater than the ones against them. We have that person inside of us when we're saved. The one, Jesus inside of us, is greater than anything that we can be afraid of on the outside. It doesn't always change the fact that sometimes the situation's a little scary and we get nervous. But when we realize that the one with us, God with us, and inside of us is greater than what's happening on the outside, it makes us feel better. Guess what? Elijah's servant seeing the whole army there. Elijah's servant went from being really afraid to trusting God. Did that change the fact that the army was still there? No, the army was still there. But even though the army was still there, Elijah's servant was no longer afraid because he believed that those that were for him, which is true, were more than those that were against him. And you know what? Sometimes in life, we'll start believing that, okay, God's with me, I got it. And then we still have times that, oh, but maybe he don't got it as good as I think he has it. Is that thought from God or Satan? Satan, because God always has it better than I think I can have it. There is nothing that I can do to make myself feel better or make myself less afraid. But knowing that God is with me allows me, even in times that doesn't always change right away, to not be as afraid. So Elijah actually goes down and asks the Lord, Lord, make all the Syrian army be blind. Smite them with blindness. So pretty much the Lord did it. So the Syrian army, they're blind, pretty much probably everything really blurry where they can't see. And Elijah goes down and speaks to the captain of the Syrian army. The Syrian army was looking for Elijah. He's standing right in front of them, and Elijah goes, listen, this isn't the way you want to go. You want to go this way. And he leads them right into the middle of the city of Samaria. And after the gates close behind them, and they're trapped in the city of Samaria, Elijah goes, Lord, now open their eyes. The blindness came off, and they're standing right in front of the person that they wanted to capture. And now they're trapped in the city of Samaria. And Elijah tells the king of Samaria, listen, don't harm them. Let them go. Let them return back to Syria. They went back to Syria, and guess what? They, again, worshiped God. Not worshiped God, but they did not return and attack Israel again for a while. Because Elijah, the king of Syria, the people of Israel, could have destroyed them. They were captive in their city. However, they chose to be kind, and in return made it to where the Syrian army didn't come back and attack them. They could have killed them all, and then guess what the Syrian king would have done? Sent more people to attack. Guess what? In life today, we have choices every day. One, are we going to live in fear? Which is sometimes the easiest thing to do. It always seems like it's easier to be afraid than it is to not be afraid. But remember, Jesus inside of us is greater than anything else going on outside of us. Does that mean that we purposely go and try to get hurt? No, I can't go and play in the middle of I can't go and play in the middle of 95 because I trust God that I'm going to be safe. That's just not smart, is it? Same thing in life. There's times that we do need to make sure we try to stay safe. But when fear comes creeping in, remind fear that you have Jesus inside of you, and he's greater than the fear you're feeling. And through life, as we meet people, even if they're not our friends, even if we don't know them, show kindness to them. Because in showing kindness, you don't know what kindness you're going to reap in return. So I'm going to give a couple more minutes. We still got another 5 minutes. We're going to give another 5 minutes to finish up our spelling, okay? Not spelling, sorry. Our Bible. And if you're finished Bible, you can move on to spelling one time. So if you want to, you can just continue keeping on writing. Natalie, if you go to the bottom of your screen, do you see like a little mute microphone on the bottom left-hand corner? Okay, try clicking on the arrow next to it. There's like a little up arrow right next to it. You see that? Try clicking on that. Do you see where it says select a microphone? No. Do you click on the arrow beside the microphone? Okay. Did it come up with like select a microphone, select a speaker? Okay. Do you see the select a microphone words at the top? There's some words underneath it. Check a different one than what is checked. Try to do the microphone that's attached to your computer or the same as system and see if that works. Did you click that? So try speaking now. Okay, so click another one. Okay, Natalie, speak now. Okay, I got you. You're speaking, okay? So that's this way you're going to need it in order to be able to talk back to me all the time, okay? So I'll try, if it happens again, I'll try to walk you through it again, okay? Nicole, can you see me now? No, okay, let's see. Not sure if this is what I can talk about. Okay, Nicole, I'm going to try to see later on today if I can, and how I can help you out and see if I can get that fixed for you, okay? Leave me know if it happens to change. Leave me know, okay? Because it might just be, I know yesterday morning you had a problem, but by math you were fine. So hopefully it'll change soon for you. Hey, Jonathan. How are you doing today? Good? You can't go back in the video, but let me re-share the screen again so that you can see the verse. Can you see that, Jonathan? This James 4, 3 to 6. I'm still here. I'm sitting down. Can you see me can you see the top of my head or my hand? You might need to log out and come back in. Try coming out and coming back in. Okay, so it might just take a minute for your computer to pick up. So let me share this again. Can you see the verse on the screen?